Hi, it's Amanda from Learning to Live Well, and today we are going to talk about actually our math curriculum. We are inside, it is very cold outside, we have some winter weather blowing in. I figured we would hit what we actually use for math. So I did have a question come up, what did I use, because of my Master Books haul. So come along and we'll talk about it. Okay, so today we are going to talk about the curriculum that we use. Now, all three of my school-age children use this curriculum, and it is one that I have used since my child was in kindergarten, and this was 6 or 7 years ago. So we have used this particular curriculum, and if you haven't been around, it is Horizons. So I am going to go through the pros of why we stick with Horizons, and then I will give you a con to consider at the end of this video. So first, some pros. Okay, so my first pro is it is very simple. The way that Horizons works is they will give you a lesson, and you kind of have like an overview in the teacher's guide, and it kind of lays it out. And honestly, I haven't really had to use it. Most of the lessons are so simple, you really do not need to go through the whole lesson with your younger kids. If you are one of those people who love the lessons and love everything laid out, they have you in the teacher's guide. We just haven't had to use it. Kids can kind of open go if they need help with anything. We teach it as we go along with the work. Works out great. Pro number 2, if your child needs extra reinforcement in any area of learning, there are reproducible pages that you can print or photocopy in the back of the book. And this works out very great if you have a child who maybe needs extra drill practice for adding, subtracting, multiplication, division, all of those things, needs extra work with place value or fractions or any of these things. A lot of them have extra worksheets in the back they can actually work on. If you're doing a part of the lesson, a lot of times they'll go ahead and tell you to print those. I find the lessons to be enough, just going through the book, and then when my kids need the extra help, we'll go ahead and print it. So the teacher's guides look like this. Let me see if I can help my students. 6th grade math book 1, the pencil just fell out, and the teacher's guide. If you want me to do more of an in-depth review, this is just more like a book review. I will see how I can work on giving you kind of an overview and a flip through of this particular curriculum. Pro number 3 is the approach to learning. So one of the things that I love about Horizons is the spiral approach. They are not long lessons. A lot of the lessons are 1 to 2 pages front and back, and they normally have everything that they've covered previous lessons kind of touched on in some way. So the way that the spiral approach works is it will hit a topic, and then it will continue to branch out, and they'll go over it and over it and over it and over it. If you are one of those kind of people who love mastery style math, this is not for you. If you want them to learn fractions for 2 weeks and not touch it again for another year, this is not this approach. This is very much my kids are doing the same thing but grabbing more and more and more and more and more skills as they progress. For me, I love that. They're having the ability to work on things over and over, and then it gradually get harder as they do. For us, it has made a math without tears approach. So we really, really like that. yeah. Okay, so pro number 4 is they are biblically based curriculum. So in a lot of the lessons, especially from like 6th grade, 5th grade, a lot of the puzzles are solved and they get to write a scriptural reference. This is also, if you do follow the teacher's guide, there's a scripture at the bottom of each of the lessons. So like lesson 137 talks about 1 Thessalonians 4:17. So they do integrate scripture. I do love that. And although we, like I said, we don't use the teacher's guide, throughout their lessons, they are constantly being pointed back to scripture and character studies. So I do like that. Okay, so pro number 5 is, as far as we have been able to tell, it is at or above grade level to the public schools. Now, personally, I want to know that my kids aren't falling behind academically. If they are struggling, I don't mind holding them back. You know, this is about them learning, not about them competing. But I want to know that they're kind of where they need to be just in case they ever needed to integrate back into public school, or integrate into public school, or just so that they know what they're supposed to know or what they need to know for life. So for that, I do like that. It is a very good pro for me. And yeah, so pro number 6, very colorful. So I don't know if you can kind of see this, but just, this is the 6th grade textbook. So even for 6th grade, very colorful. This is the 3rd grade, very colorful, very engaging. I'm not sure where my other child's curriculum is. When I was trying to pull them out, I couldn't find them, so I just went with it. And so, yes, very colorful, very engaging. I like that. I love the fact that there's a lot going on. It doesn't become boring and dry like them just reading a textbook. It kind of seems a little more interactive. So I am good with that. Pro number 7 is that it does go all the way up to 8th grade. So it stops at Algebra 1, which is kind of a con if you really want to think about it, because I really like this curriculum. I'd love to do it all the way up to 12th grade if they have one. Horizons, you're kind of picking up what I'm putting down. Yes, I would. I would totally use this curriculum all the way up if they would do it. I don't think they're going to write any more curriculum, but if they did, I would lovingly get it, because like I said, it has just been very easy, very straightforward. The kids are able to be very proficient in math just by that spiral approach. It really gets hammered in there. They're learning concepts well, able to integrate them. Very easy, good math curriculum. Now here's my con. If you are the kind of person who needs tactile help, you are probably going to need to get manipulatives with this particular curriculum. Now, I will say personally, we haven't bought a lot of manipulatives, but we have bought some. Okay, so I do have some kids who are super hands-on, and they're very much kinesthetic learners. So for us, I added in a couple of manipulatives in to really help us. So clock, I think we got off of Amazon for like 10-ish bucks. Look out for sales on these too, because sometimes Amazon does these little sales or whatever, or you could find them at like thrift stores, teacher stores on clearance. You know, you don't have to go crazy on the spending train for manipulatives. But I did find for my younger babies, this really did help. It's like the spinning clock that as it goes around. I also made a worksheet to correspond with the hour and the minute, and it was just really quick, simple, put together with like some Sharpies and a laminator machine. So very quick, very easy. Another thing that we use is like a flip flashcard. We only use this as like just to test some of my older kids that they've got they're pretty proficient in it, but just something else you can throw in for fun, even though you probably won't be able to see it. They are fractions and decimal piece togethers, I guess you could say, that kind of show equivalence. This is very helpful when they're first learning fractions to kind of get the concept, especially if you have some kinesthetic learners. It's honestly not that much. I think they're like $8 to $10. If you're on a budget, I completely understand. These are things that we've picked up over the years. We haven't bought them all at once. And like I said, by all means, look at Amazon. If you shop at Temu, look at Temu. All of those kind of places. And you can get some really good stuff. So like this is something that we got off of Temu. It's actually a multiplication board. So it's actually pretty cool. It helped one of my students that a little bit more kinesthetic in learning, and it looks just like this. And it's pretty simple. You just kind of, let's see if I can get it. So like 3 times 3, pick it up. It says 9 underneath. And I'm sure you could find an equivalent to this in a lot of places, but just things like that when they were learning their times tables. This way he could go back and go check his work, which made it a little bit more fun and a little bit more engaging, a little bit more hands-on. So that would be the only con that I really have with... Okay, editing Amanda here. Please ignore the sounds in the kitchen. I am pressure canning. So we actually do have 2 other things that I forgot to mention. One we haven't used a lot. It's like the 3D shapes. And 2 is a set of place value blocks that I'm going to pop a picture up. All right. Horizons is just, they don't have a lot for kinesthetic learners who need that kind of reinforcement. But we were able to kind of figure that out with manipulatives. And, oh, and the kids do have a giant colored poster in their room that has like all the different shapes, 2D, 3D, and then they have another one that's like the 100 chart from like 1 to 100 in different colors and stuff like that. And when they're doing skip counting, I'll have them go take a expo marker and go circle it to learn their skip counting. And that's worked out really well too. You won't need them all in the first year. If you're just starting out with Horizons and you're in the younger grades, like the clock is very helpful. The fractions come in later. The flip cards, I was actually given this. You could probably find something like this at a thrift store or like I said at like clearance. And like I said, this was a Temu throw together thing. But you can get really creative. I highly recommend Horizons for anyone who wants more of a spiral approach. Just more color, more open and go. It does hit the core standards. In fact, I feel like it goes above it. Anytime I've ever asked anyone an equivalent grade, most of the stuff that we're doing, they've never ever done yet or haven't been exposed to it. It references scripture. It brings Christ into it. Love that. And pretty open and go, very minimal setup from the teacher. And the lessons are put together really well and you don't really forget anything. So personally, I would recommend it. I really like it. And I hope you will too. All right. Well, God bless. Have a great day.